Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to Let's Play Chips Challenge Level Pack 4. I'm JB and as always I will be your guide through this set of levels that was developed and produced and assembled by the Chips Challenge community. This is the 4th community official level set for the game and the 5th official set for Chips Challenge 1 and the 6th official set overall across all the different games. So, I'm excited to do this one, because this is my personal favorite Chips Challenge set, in the official sense, at least. And, it's also the one that I had probably the least amounts to do with, at least recently. I ran the, or coordinated the staff for Chips Challenge Level Pack 3 and then 1. But this one was co-led by Jeffrey Barden and Josh Lee, which I think worked out pretty well. They definitely brought different perspectives to the whole process. And if you want to hear more about what went into assembling the set, I highly recommend watching Josh Lee's own Let's Play of this game. But in the meantime, I'm just going to be playing through it and just enjoying the levels and commenting on what I like about each of them, because I don't think there's a single level in here that I actively dislike. The other thing I will mention is that there is, as of now, no story associated with this set. Right now, there was going to be a story, but at this point there is none, because we want to release the set on time. So we chose not to include a story, at least for now. I was planning on originally waiting to Let's Play this until there was a story, but I decided to go ahead and do this for a few reasons, one of which will be revealed after this Let's Play is done. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. Excuse me. Get started with Level 1, Molecule. Alright, so we start off here and we get a boot and a key, and there is no place to go except here, so let's go grab these. Get a pair of skates. Looks like these are used here. And we are forced to go along this path, but we can get some suction boots with which we can get flippers. Alright, so now we can get a whole bunch of keys, which is cool. And open this path up, and let's see. Yeah, here we go. Now we can get this green key and get out of here. So, this is an interesting level because, in my opinion, it's a great example of an introductory type of level that features, basic elements like boots and keys, but it features them in a way that wouldn't have been appropriate for CCLP1, and that's why I like having it in this set, is because it's something that's more complex than that, but it's appropriate for the lower bound of difficulty that this set is all about, or this set covers, so I really liked that part of it a lot. So great start to the set. Pixilated Fire. Oh, and I don't know if it said it was by Jeffrey Barden there, but that's who it's by, Jeffrey Barden. So Pixilated Fire is level 2. I copied all my files to this new computer, by the way. I'm starting to use it as of today for Let's Playing purposes, and so far it's going pretty well. The sound, at least now I can actually use headphones, which is a really big deal, because on my old computer I couldn't even do that. The sound was usually really quiet, and I don't know why it was really quiet, but oh, whoops, was that right? Yes, it was. I couldn't remember what I did here, but yeah, there's this bomb room, and we can get red key. Then we go in here, and we've got some chips under blocks, and I forgot to push that. There we go. Let's use this block over there. I wonder when the first death of the Let's Play will be. I'm looking forward to finding out. Alright, and it looks like we made it to the end, so we can go ahead and exit. See, I copied over all my stuff here, and yeah, the CCX files I forgot to include, so I'm going to have to grab that in between videos. So it's in the data folder. I think it's the data folder, isn't it? Yeah, but this level was by Jeffrey. He, or not Jeffrey, I'm sorry, Eddie Lim. I don't know why I thought this was by Jeffrey. It feels like the sort of easy level he would make. I think that's why. Alright, moving on to a level that is by Jeffrey, Fossilized Snow. So this is a maze level, and like a lot of Jeffrey's designs, it's a really good example of taking a familiar trope, in this case multi-layered mazes, and then doing something very different with them. So usually in these multi-layered mazes, you kind of have sort of a checkerboard type thing where different things are layered on top of each other. So like double maze is probably the best example of that. But here, it's not a checkerboard. It's just different shapes of, or different paths, I should say, of stuff all converging here and crossing over each other. And I think that's a really cool idea. It's not one that I've seen done a lot. I kind of want to try my hand at this sort of design, but I don't know how it would look or what form it would take, but I really like how it worked out here. Alright, there we go. We got our skates, and we can go right to the exit up here. So yeah, I really liked that one a lot. That one's cool. Alright, so fourth level, also by Jeffrey, is called Oasis. There we go. So you can see here, this is a concept that may be a little bit intimidating if you don't know it at first, that these blocks actually have walls under them. So, as long as you just keep that in mind, you should be good there. These ones have chips under them, which is pretty neat. But yeah, it's pretty cool to wear headphones now, so I don't have to worry about sound bleeding over that comes through the microphone coming from games. I may still need to do that for certain games, though, depending on how loud they are when outputted through the speakers. But I don't see myself doing that very much in terms of Chip's Challenge, at least. Because here, at least, it's a decent volume when it comes through. And this isn't a game where the sound is like super important in a video. But I like this ending here where you can see you end up in this watery area with this green stuff, which I'm assuming is supposed to represent like a giant palm tree or something, or bunches of them. And then there's these little pools of water that the exits represent. So that's pretty neat. Alright, and now we have yet another level by Jeffrey, Non-Dimensional Layer. So, again, this is another example of a multi-layered maze. It's got toggle walls on it. And what I like about this one, I think my favorite thing about this one is that it kind of does away with what a lot of levels do, including one of my own called Layered Labyrinth, where it's kind of like this typical multi-layered thing where you got a bunch of walls and they're just kind of scattered and you have to sort of loop around and find a bunch of different things in terms of getting through different pathways and all that. This one, it's really interesting in that there are pathways that are very strict. And what I mean by that is like this one over here, you actually have to go all the way there to get that chip. But at the same time, there's buttons everywhere. So you don't feel like you're really confined to going along this very linear pathway. And I really like that. I think, wait a minute, that wasn't the long one. It was the one that involves getting to that chip. Let's see, which one is that? It's not this one, it's the other one. It's this one. You have to go there first and then hit that. So yeah, like something like that where there's a sequence of buttons you have to press. I appreciate that that was included in this level. And then there's like really easy chips like this, and paths like this that end up in this place. Another thing that I've noticed Jeffrey is really good at doing is that he makes these mazes where the endpoints of each path are not necessarily chips. Sometimes they are, like that chip we just got right there. But sometimes the chips are found in the middle of a path, and I really like that part a lot. That's really neat. Alright, so I think that's the only point on this set of walls where there isn't a wall. It's a socket instead. Okay, that is it for Non-Dimensional Layer. Moving on to one of my levels in the set, Proving Grounds. Time to put your knowledge to the test. So, fun fact about this level, I originally designed this to be kind of like a review / nuts and bolts kind of thing, like entrance examination from CCLP4 that basically went over every element in CC1. And a lot of my inspiration from this came from the lesson levels in CC2, oddly enough. And the reason for that was partially because I didn't really think CC2 was ever going to come out. So, instead of waiting for it, I decided to kind of adapt a lot of the puzzles that involve the CC1 elements into this level. So, like, there was I think it was lesson 2 or 3 in CC2 that involved a set of rooms like this where they were 3 tiles wide and 3 tiles wide and I guess not a certain amount tall, but in this case it's 3 tiles tall and the amount that it's wide is the length of the room. So it ended up working out pretty well, I think. And I think these sections were also lifted from the CC2 levels too, this bug in paramecium. This I think I took from Pigeonholes, that area. This was kind of more of a condensed version of the Fireball and Glider sections in the CC2 lessons. And then there's this teeth area, which was almost lifted purely from CC2. Like, it's very obviously a ripoff. Except in CC2, it looked like the number 9, so I tried to make it look at least a little bit more, or a little less obvious. Then we get this tank area here, so you just have to press those twice. Right there. And then we get the walker. Alright, and then we just open this up and go through these toggle doors. And then we got a simple cloning thing here at the very end, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much Proving Grounds. I think it's a level that has a good flow, which is one reason why I was really hoping it would get into the set, and I'm glad it did. And I'm glad it's in this spot. I don't think it would have, looking in hindsight, it wouldn't have been that great for the first level. So I'm glad it ended up where it did. Alright, In the Pool. This is a level by Rock Genereux, and it's got a very interesting conceit. Basically, you have to create a nail over here with these blocks, and then take a block inside. I think it's, let me just make sure. Yeah, you have to take a block inside that you would push to get to the exit. But then, after you do that, then you bring the other blocks around to get to the chips. So it's a really interesting set of dependencies, which I think are really cool. I like playing around with stuff like this. Alright, there we go. And moving on to the fourth dimension. So this is the first level by Josh Lee in this set. And it's actually an expanded concept of, or expanded version of a concept that's featured in a later level by Josh that appears in the set, actually. But the whole concept is that you remove these chips, and then after you go through the socket, you'll reverse the tanks, and then you get keys that are currently under some of the tanks in the maze. I really like this idea a lot. The original level actually had dirt instead of chips. It had some chips, I think, but it mostly had dirt blocking up a lot of these tanks. And so you could theoretically change the nature of the maze depending on what dirt you removed. And I actually optimized this level, the original version of the level, in Josh L5, I believe. Because I remember going through it there in the Let's Play. And I think if you check my Let's Played version of the level, I think it was the dirt version. You're more than welcome to look at it if you want. But the funny thing about it was that if you removed some of the dirt, or refused to remove some of the dirt, you could actually create some interesting shortcuts. And I'm kind of sad that Josh didn't keep that, because I thought that was really clever. It added an extra layer to an already layered maze. But I like the way it turned out, though. It's a lot more strict, but it works really cleanly. And the final maze really does feel familiar, because a lot of the areas that are a lot more linear were less so in the original chip maze that we started with. So that's pretty neat. And there's lots of red keys to collect here, which we'll use, as you probably saw on the right side there. Making sure we don't miss anything. See, like this path up here, this was a lot more open in the first iteration of the maze. Okay. Now all we need to do is just go over here, and we got a yellow key which we can use where we started. And I took the long path. Whoops. There we go. Cool. Alright, that was a lot of fun. Moving on to Pinball. This is a level by Andrew Menzies, who featured quite prominently in CCLP4 and has quite a few levels in this set as well. Not as much as Josh and Jeffrey do, and I totally missed those chips. Well, we can go back and get them. Let's read the hint up there. If you miss any chips on the way up the plunger lane, you can return them there the same way a real pinball would. So, I really like this level, and I'm kind of sad it wasn't in CCLP4, to be honest. But one of the things I like about it is that not only is it a really fun, basic ball dodging level, we can get a toggle switch hit there, but it's also very open and just, it feels like real pinball. Like, you feel like you're tumbling all over this level. And this is in sharp contrast to, there was another, like, 2 pinball levels. And they were both, like, complex puzzles. And I was really sad because I feel like if you're going to represent the game of pinball in Chip's Challenge, you should make it like pinball. You should make it light and fun. And I feel like this level does a good job of that. Much more than the other ones did. Okay, so we need to get on the slide here if we're going to make it forward. I recently actually discovered an additional second on this level in the MS rule set. And I also discovered one in Lynx as well, but then Ruben Spawns was able to beat it. So it's actually a pretty tricky route to find. Alright, there we go. And I really like the lane that you can go up there. It reminds me of those little scoring areas in pinball machines where you can go up and you can get like a bunch of points. Like your ball will get stuck there and then it will get released. Alright, so level 10 is called Stuck in Emerald, and this is another level by Josh. So the one thing you don't want to do here is get the green key at the start, because you need to nail through those to get those chips. But now we can get it, and need to get it, actually. And we cannot get through that, so we'll have to find another way in. So, okay, so we cannot get those suction boots, so that's kind of a bit of a bummer. But we can keep going down here. And now something's triggered and is now toggling. And we can now get out. So you can actually explore this outer area here, and there's even a hint that I'll show you here. Some of these blue walls are real because it is possible in MS, if they weren't real, to totally avoid that chip collecting fest over there. And then, let's see, here we go. If you're reading this and you've successfully escaped the emerald, and you're probably about to run out of time. Yeah, so let's go ahead and go to the exit. Yeah, you could theoretically boost backwards in MS if that were fake, if the toggles were closed. Cool, alright, now we are on to Keyboard Malfunction. Another Josh level. So this is a really fun concept, and when I first played this in Josh L6, I believe it was, I fell in love with this level because it was such a what kind of thing that I was like, this is brilliant, and just like, I can't believe no one thought of this before. So the idea here is you're supposed to multiply the keys you get by going to these intersections that have tons of keys without having to use up additional keys to get to them. And you're trying to build up this collection so you can get all the way to the bottom left corner of the maze. And that's where the one chip that's required is located. So, let's see, there's this section right here is really big for getting keys. Yeah, the level was just really fun. I love the idea. It's just really neat overall. And what you want to do if you're playing this casually and not optimizing is you want to leave at least one key untouched. Like, let's say we did that. So that way if you don't have enough, you can at least try to get more. Alright, I think that's good. Let's give it a shot and see if we can go through. Oh. Okay, well, see, that's why it was good that we left that one key there. So we just need to get 2 more keys and then we'll be home free. Alright, so we'll get that one, and then we can make 2 keys here, or 1 key there, and then, let's see, we can get another one there. I guess I left one there. Okay, well that should be enough to make it through the sockets, or not the sockets, the doors, and then get through the sockets. Oh, we actually had one more. So one thing you want to do is you can blast through all this, but you'll need to make sure that you have only 1 key here, because you'll need to nail past that. So, really cool concept. I kind of wish this level was like 140s material, because it would have been kind of funny to put it late into the set as sort of a, you thought this was complicated, but guess what, it's real easy! And I don't know, the title kind of made it sound like a what kind of level, but oh well. Moving on to rivets. This is a Joshua Bone level. And fun fact, this level was actually in CCLP4 voting, but it didn't get into that set. And Joshua Bone didn't submit levels for CCLP1, I don't believe. Did he? I'm trying to remember. No, he didn't. If he did, I would have definitely voted for the Love, because that's a great dodging level for CCLP1. So yeah, this level is basically kind of like nuts and bolts. In fact, the title, I think, is meant to reference nuts and bolts, because rivets are another type of little tool that you can use. Or, what are those things called? Not tools, but like accessories for tools. Like little nuts and bolts type things. What are those called? Do people just call them nuts and bolts? Or doohickeys, or, you know, extremely technical terms like that. I don't know. Anyway, we're almost to the end. We just have a teeth manipulation area here. Let's see, we'll go get this one. I'm totally not doing this the optimized way. Alright, there we go. And now we can go through the sockets. And we just have a fireball to lead here. And I timed it perfectly. Nice. Alright. Moving on to Encased in Carbonite. This level was designed by Andrew Menzies. And as soon as I saw this level, I was like, this is a shoo-in for an official set. You can't walk past monsters when there's only one space between them, like these bugs. I don't know if that hint was entirely necessary, but I appreciate the fact that he included it. I mean, it was, I think, a little bit more relevant in the context of Andrew's official set. Or, not official set, but custom set. It's official to Andrew, so that counts, right? And we have a chip hidden down here. So we get all these chips, which are pretty cool. We need to find a blue key, which is right there. Alright, I'll come back for those later. Now here's the cool part. When you go through this, you get to an alternate version of that first room, where everything is stuck. So it's interesting because you can go through sections like that, with the bugs trapped in the carbonite or the gravel, but then there's stuff like this, where everything that you need is blocked. So as you can see, you can't get all the chips that are present in the level, but you can get all the required ones, and you just have to get different ones in each area. Like that one right there we couldn't get to. But in the other version of the room, we totally could. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to have to come back there to exit, because we couldn't have gotten in there in the other room, because it's constant fireballs. I'm kind of having to get used to this keyboard on this new computer. This is definitely different. Like the left and right arrow keys are really big, but then the upper and lower one, or the up and down arrow keys, are small. Like, it's really strange. Okay, and now we can go to the exit, which is over here. So yeah, I really love the concept a lot. Really inventive and really cool. Polygon. This is a level by somebody who goes by the name of Cyber Smack. And it's basically a maze of sorts. It involves teleports and blue walls. And it's really cool. It's very simple, but the idea is really well implemented, and you get some interesting rooms, including some where if you tried going through just the teleports one at a time, you probably wouldn't be able to get to some of these. It's like we can get to that one instantly through the teleports, but that's not always the case. Okay, so let's go through there. So you really have to explore and make sure you get past everything. And each blue wall diamond here only has one exit, so that's one. I think each one of them only has one. So that's one thing that at least you can count on. I think there's two sets of teleports to go through. There's the horizontal one and the vertical one. Okay, so I think we're done with this one. So the other one we need to go through is over here. Here we go. So now some of these wall patterns have been defined a little bit more. It's like we couldn't go through that. There we go. Almost there. That's open, so we'll take those. Alright. And here we can get to this one. I think this one you couldn't get to if you were just going through the teleports and not exploring any further. Alright, so that is it for Polygon. Really fun maze level. And now Crossback. So this is another Andrew Menzies level that was in his second set, the other 100 tiles, which I LP'd on the channel, by the way. Forgot to plug that in there. And all you need to do is just be very careful about your recess wall usage. The top 3 buttons control the upper 3 tank cloners in order left to right. Bottom buttons are similar. Alright, so let's clone that first, then that, and then we'll clone like 4 of those. That should be sufficient. Alright, and then we do this trap up here, but now we have to position the block down here. And now comes the fun part. We get to go back through all the rooms. And I love this because it feels like a nice reward after going through the rooms linearly like that. You get to kind of just revisit them and collect these chips on the way back. Really fun. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop there for now. We're going to continue with Reservoir Frogs in the next video. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you are, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you can get notified the next episode. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.